Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be looking at cats, more specifically, their relationships with humans.
Oh, yeah.
You sent me a bunch of research, and honestly, I was pretty surprised by some of it.
Yeah.
It might just change how you see your feline friends.
Well, it's funny you should say that because what's so interesting to me is how this research really challenges the stereotype of cats,
Right.
being aloof and distant. Like we always say, dogs are man's best friend.
Right, man's best friend.
But it turns out the science is actually showing us a much more complex picture of how cats bond with us.
Okay, so let's jump right in.
Yeah.
This one study in the journal, animals found 5 distinct types of relationships
Wow.
between cats and their owner.
I know.
5. Who knew?
That's amazing.
There's so many different ways that cats could connect with us.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? And they range from like open relationships where the cat and the owner, they both value their independence, all the way to codependent. And even friendship bonds where there's a really strong two-way emotional connection.
Okay, so it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
No.
Each cat-human pair develops their own unique dynamic.
Exactly.
Kind of like human relationships.
Exactly. Yeah. And this study actually gets into specific behaviors associated with each bond type.
Oh, interesting.
So, for example, in a codependent relationship, the cat might be really clingy and constantly seek attention from their owner, whereas in a friendship bond, the cat might be more independent but still show, clear signs of affection and enjoyment when they're interacting with their human.
That makes sense. It's like they have their own love languages.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, another study looked at how cats communicate with us.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out those meows and purrs might be more than just random noises.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
You see, cats don't really use those same vocalizations with each other. They seem to have developed specific meows and purrs just for us, almost like they've adapted their language to communicate with humans specifically.
So when my cat rubs against my leg and lets out a little chirp, they might actually be trying to tell me something.
It's very likely. Research suggests that they use these purrs and meows to convey a whole range of emotions and needs.
Like what?
From hunger to wanting attention or even expressing discomfort.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
This is making me see my cat in a whole new light.
I know, right?
But now I have to ask, what about all the benefits of having a cat?
Right.
Everyone always talks about how good it is for you. But is there any science to back that up?
There is. You sent over a study published in the Human-Animal Interaction Bulletin that digs into just that, and it goes way beyond, simple companionship.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So this research found that interacting with cats can have a really profound impact on our well-being, both mentally and emotionally.
Okay.
So the study looked at several categories. One of the most interesting was what they call positive valence, low arousal, or PVLA.
PVLA.
PVLA, yeah. You know that feeling of pure bliss you get when your cat curls up on your lap and starts purring?
Oh, yeah.
That's PVLA in action.
Okay.
And research shows it actually lowers your stress hormones and helps you relax.
That makes so much sense. I mean, who doesn't need a little more of that in their lives?
I know, right?
Right.
And it's not just about, those super cuddly moments, even when cats are being a bit demanding, vying for your attention. The study found that simply having them sit on your lap can counteract those potentially negative feelings and even reduce anxiety.
Really?
They called this negative valence high arousal, or NVAH.
So even when they're being a little mischievous,
Yeah.
they still manage to have a calming effect on us.
It seems that way.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what else did this study uncover?
Well, they also looked at the impact of cats on something called eudaimonic well-being,
Eudaimonic well-being.
which focuses on finding meaning and purpose in life.
Okay.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay, I have to admit, eudaimonic well-being sounds a bit complicated.
Yeah.
Can you break it down for me?
Yeah, think of it like this. It's about feeling fulfilled and connected to something larger than yourself. And the study found that interactions with cats can actually contribute to this sense of well-being in several ways.
Like how?
Well, For one, talking about your cat with other people can strengthen social bonds and make you feel more connected to your community.
Okay.
The unconditional love and acceptance that cats offer can also boost self-esteem and make you feel more comfortable with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And even something as simple as learning about cat behavior or training them can give you a sense of accomplishment and purpose.
Wow, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
But it totally makes sense.
Right.
It's like these furry little creatures are secretly helping us lead more meaningful lives.
It's a fascinating idea, isn't it? But wait, there's more. You also sent over a study on cats and heart health, and this one really blew my mind.
Okay, all ears, tell me everything.
This study, published in the Journal of Vascular and Interventional Neurology, tracked a large group of people for over 20 years.
Wow.
And found a remarkable correlation between owning a cat and a reduced risk of fatal heart attacks.
Wait, seriously? Having a cat can actually protect your heart. How is that even possible?
Well, the researchers are still investigating the exact mechanisms at play.
Okay.
But they believe that the stress-reducing effects of having a cat companion, combined with the calming nature of their purrs and the simple act of petting them, can significantly improve cardiovascular health.
That is incredible. It seems like these furry little creatures are packed with hidden superpowers.
I know, right?
And it makes you wonder if cats can have such a profound positive impact on our well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Why are so many of them still ending up in shelters?
It's a heartbreaking reality, isn't it? There are countless amazing cats in shelters all over the world.
Yeah.
Just waiting for a loving home.
It's true.
And this brings us to an important point we wanted to touch on today.
Okay.
The ethical considerations of bringing a cat into your life.
Absolutely. We've talked a lot about the amazing benefits of having a cat, and I definitely encourage anyone who's ready for the commitment to consider welcoming a feline friend into their lives. But it's so important to remember that adoption should always be the first choice.
You know, it's truly remarkable how many incredible cats are out there, just waiting for their forever homes in shelters.
It's so true. And when you adopt a cat from a shelter, you're not only giving that individual animal a second chance at a happy life, but you're also making a real difference in the lives of countless other animals by freeing up space and resources for them.
Absolutely. Adoption is such a powerful act of compassion.
It is.
It's something I'm so incredibly passionate about.
You know, I think there's sometimes a misconception that shelter cats are somehow like damaged goods, but that couldn't be further from the truth.
Oh, you're so right.
Right.
So many shelter cats end up there through no fault of their own. Sometimes it's, their owners have to move or they can no longer care for them.
Right.
Other times they're strays who have simply lost their way.
It's heartbreaking to think about all those loving, playful cats.
I know.
Just waiting for someone to give them a chance.
And they have so much to offer. They're just as capable of forming strong bonds with their humans as any other cat.
Speaking of bonds, I wanted to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about the different types of relationships cats form with their owners. This idea that there are 5 distinct bond categories really fascinated me.
It's a game changer, isn't it?
It is.
It really challenges that idea that all cats are the same and shows us that their relationships with us are just as individual as they are.
I'm curious, is there a way for people to figure out what kind of bond they have with their own cat?
Absolutely. Think about, your cat's typical behaviors. Do they greet you at the door when you come home? Do they follow you around the house? Do they prefer to cuddle on their own terms, or are they constantly seeking attention?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
By paying attention to those everyday interactions, we can start to understand our cat's unique ways of showing affection and how they prefer to connect with us.
Exactly. And once you have a better sense of your cat's personality and how they interact with you, you can actually tailor your interactions to better suit their needs and preferences.
So it's all about understanding their individual love languages and responding in kind.
Precisely. Now, I know you mentioned earlier that you were surprised by the study about cats and heart health.
I was.
I have to say that one surprised me as well.
Yeah.
But as I dug deeper into the research, it started to make more sense.
It's truly amazing, and I think it speaks to the powerful yet often underestimated connection between our physical and emotional well-being.
Absolutely. And it highlights just how deeply intertwined our lives are with those of our animal companions.
Yeah.
The study found that cat owners, on average, had lower blood pressure, were less stressed, and were even more physically active than non-cat owners.
I remember you mentioning the potential role of those soothing purrs in regulating heart rhythms. It's incredible to think that something as simple as a cat's purr could have such a profound impact on our health.
It really is. And let's not forget the calming effect of simply petting a cat.
Oh, yeah?
Studies have shown that petting a cat can lower levels of the stress hormone cortisol.
Really?
And release oxytocin, which is often referred to as the love hormone.
So it's not just in our heads.
Yeah.
There's a real physiological response happening when we interact with our feline friends.
Exactly. And those physiological changes can have a ripple effect on our overall health and well-being.
You know, this conversation is making me realize just how much I've learned about cats today.
Yeah.
I used to think they were pretty low-maintenance pets, but now I see there's so much more to it than that.
It's true that cats are often perceived as being independent.
Right.
But they still have needs and preferences just like any other animal.
And as their caregivers, it's our responsibility to understand those needs.
Yes.
And create an environment where they can truly thrive.
Absolutely. It's about providing them with not just the basics like food and shelter, but also with opportunities for enrichment, play, and of course, lots of love and affection.
I'm curious, what are some specific things that people can do to make sure their cats are happy and fulfilled?
Well, for starters, it's important to remember that cats are natural climbers and explorers.
Okay.
So creating a vertical space for them with, cat trees or shelves can really enrich their environment.
That makes sense. My cats absolutely love to perch up high.
Yeah.
And observe their surroundings. It's like they have their own little kingdom.
It's in their nature. And since they're also natural predators, it's important to give them opportunities to express those instincts through play.
So those feather wands and laser pointers aren't just for fun. They're actually helping our cats stay mentally and physically stimulated.
Exactly. Playtime isn't just about entertainment. It's a crucial part of their well-being.
This is all so fascinating. I feel like I'm seeing cats in a whole new light.
And that's what makes this topic so rewarding to explore.
Yeah.
The more we learn about pets, the more we appreciate their complexity and the incredible bond we share with them.
I couldn't agree more. But before we get too carried away, I think it's important to address a question that some people might have.
Okay.
What if you're not already a cat person?
Right.
Can you still benefit from having a feline companion?
That's a great question. While it's true that not everyone is naturally drawn to cats, I think it's important to keep an open mind.
I mean, I have to admit, I wasn't always a cat person myself. But the more I learned about them, the more I fell in love with their unique personalities and the special bond we can share with them.
It's amazing how transformative that experience can be. Even if you don't end up adopting a cat yourself.
Yeah.
Simply learning more about them and appreciating their place in the world can enrich your life in unexpected ways.
So it's about fostering empathy and understanding, even for creatures that might seem a little mysterious at first glance.
Exactly. And who knows, you might just surprise yourself and discover a newfound love for these fascinating felines.
Well, I think it's safe to say that this deep dive has been a real eye-opener for me. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on cats and the incredible bond we share with them. I have to say, this whole conversation has really inspired me to think about ways I can make my own cats' lives even better.
I love that. It's so rewarding to see how this research can translate into real-world action. And even small changes can make a big difference in a cat's happiness.
Like what kind of changes?
Well, for example, something as simple as providing a variety of toys can keep a cat mentally stimulated. Some cats love chasing laser pointers, while others prefer batting at crinkle balls or stalking feather toys.
Right.
It's really about finding what each individual cat enjoys.
It's like creating a feline playground in your own home.
Exactly. And don't forget about scratching posts.
Oh, yeah?
Cats have a natural instinct to scratch. And providing them with appropriate outlets for that behavior can save your furniture and keep them happy.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
I've definitely had my share of scratched up couches before I realized the importance of scratching posts.
And speaking of making cats happy, I think it's important to remember that they rely on us for so much more than just food and shelter.
Right.
They need our love, attention, and understanding to truly thrive.
That's a really important point. And it brings us back to the idea of adoption.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about the benefits of having a cat, but for anyone out there considering bringing a feline friend into their lives, I can't emphasize enough the importance of choosing adoption over buying from a breeder.
I wholeheartedly agree. Shelters are filled with incredible cats of all ages, breeds, and personalities, all waiting for their forever homes.
And, sometimes people hesitate to adopt because they worry about the cat's past.
Right.
Or whether they'll be able to bond with them. But honestly, those fears are often unfounded.
Absolutely. Shelter cats are just as capable of forming loving, strong bonds with their humans as any other cat. In fact, many people who adopt shelter cats say the experience is even more rewarding.
Yeah.
Because you've truly given an animal a second chance at a happy life.
And let's not forget the senior cats.
Oh, yes.
They often get overlooked, but they have so much love and companionship to offer.
I know.
Adopting a senior cat can be an incredibly fulfilling experience, giving them a comfortable and loving home in their golden years.
It's so true. Every cat, regardless of age or background, deserves a loving home.
Yeah.
And when you choose to adopt, you're not just saving a life, you're also opening your heart to a world of love, laughter, and purrs.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
Oh.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the science behind the cat-human bond to the joys and responsibilities of cat ownership.
It's been a fascinating journey. And I hope our listeners have gained a newfound appreciation for these incredible creatures.
You know I have.
Yeah.
And if you're listening out there and you're thinking about welcoming a cat into your life, please remember what we've discussed today. Choose adoption. Be prepared to provide a loving and enriching environment and get ready for an amazing journey of companionship and discovery.
And who knows, you might just find that your life is perfectly complete with a furry feline friend by your side.
That's a great way to wrap things up. To all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of cats.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, happy diving.